You're late, young man. If I were to come in late, I'd lose money. You better start breaking down yesterday's type right away.
Kettlinger? Kettlinger, I'm having a sale, and I need 450 of this handbill. And I'd appreciate it if you could get it for me by noon today. I saw one of those electric trolley cars over in Topeka last week. Can you imagine a trolley car with no horses? Amazing. Just amazing.
Jamie, set this up.
Also heard there was a couple of deaths from diphtheria in Topeka last week. 15 people died of it in Kansas City. That's near epidemic stage. And not a word about it in the newspaper. Nor any word of that trolley car either. I tell you, Kettlinger, this town could use another newspaper.
Yeah, well, I've been thinking of making Baxter an offer for the Chronicle. He's getting pretty old to run a newspaper. Last week he was in here, asked me to do the printing up of the legislative record this session so as he can just slip it in with the rest of the paper. Says it's getting too big for one man to run.
A 2-page sheet was fine 10 years ago, but this town's growing, and the newspaper ought to grow with it.
Yeah, should be more than a one-man operation. Maybe young Sutherland would make me a good reporter.
Well, I've still got a one-man operation to run. Better get at it.
Jamie, when we have to start printing the legislative record for the Chronicle, you'll have to spend some extra time around here. With the populists in office, they'll be making a lot of changes, I suspect.
Mr. Kettlinger's print shop didn't print much of the legislative record that session, even though the radical populist party got a governor elected and took control of the Senate. The problem was both the populists and the Republicans claimed the House of Representatives. Both parties equipped their sergeants at arms with rifles, and the populists barricaded themselves in the Capitol building. Got so bad that the Republicans broke down the doors and the governor had to call out the militia. Fact is, a fancy magazine way out in New York City had pictures of it right on their cover. No, the House didn't pass much more than 1 week's worth of legislation for Kettlinger to print up. The diphtheria thing was more serious than O'Leary had guessed. It killed 6 people in our town that year. Young ones, old ones, rich people, poor people. Came real close to poor Jamie.
Just what kind of a horse doctor are you, anyway? You told me you could give my son better treatment than any doctor in the country.
But, Adam, I did all I could.
You did all you could? What's the matter? Don't I pay my bills? Didn't I see to it that we got the best medicine around?
Adam, it's not a matter of money.
If I'd have known this was going to happen, I'd have packed my boy on the train and taken him to Topeka.
There's nothing they could have done there that I didn't do here, Adam.
Don't tell me what they can't do and what my money can't buy. My boy Matthew is dead. My boy Matthew is dead.
Arriving in Newton?
We should arrive at approximately 8:30, ma'am.
Thank you.
Grandpa, I'm sorry you had to come all this way just to get me.
Well, your mother and I are just glad the Army had sense enough to realize you weren't old enough to be in the cavalry.
I don't want to be in the cavalry. It's just that all Matthew and I ever talked about was being soldiers. And when I heard Mr. Burke say he was dead, well,
I can understand how you feel.
Was Mr. Kettlinger mad when I didn't show up for work?
I'm sure he could have used you.
You think he'll let me work for him again?
Wouldn't hurt to ask.
I hope so, because when he buys a newspaper, he's going to let me be a reporter.
I'm sure you'll be a good one, Jamie.